Hello guys, how are you doing today? Good, hopefully you're doing great. So today what I want to talk about is what's known as reality loops. How do we manifest the same things, or why do we keep manifesting the same life, the same desires, the same stuff, right? So that's a very good question. So I like to call that a reality loop. So a reality loop is basically you're in what I call a trance state program. You're being operated or you're being run primarily on your subconscious, even though consciously you want your life to change, but for some reason you struggle and you fight, but you still create the same reality, what I call that loop. So it's like you get up every day, it's the same thing, but you expect something different, but somehow it's like, man, I keep manifesting or attracting the same things. I'm trying to change this, but it's not, nothing's happening. So what's going on? So let's delve into it. So let's see what's going on so you can get a clearer picture so that you can really go ahead and take charge and change your life, right? So in order to understand reality loops, we have to understand the mind. So there's things about the mind that you're learning now, and so that's good. You're going to continue to learn. So let me break it down and give you some more knowledge on how the mind is. So the reason why reality loops are so hard to break is because it's being controlled by the unconscious or your subconscious, below conscious. Subconscious operates with our actions and our habits, right? So that's things that we consciously don't have control over unless you become aware of it. Now there's a key now. So in your mind, let's go with the two minds first. So you have your conscious mind. That's your everyday mind where you think, you have the logic, you can analyze, you can become aware of your reality, right? That's your conscious mind. Now with that mind, you can override your subconscious mind, but it takes some awareness. But it's a constant, focus, it's a constant attention on it. That could take a lot of power, man. It's like willpower, you get exhausted, and if you lose focus, your mind takes you back into that loop. So reality loop is primarily controlled by the subconscious, but it's interpreted through the conscious. So in other words, you're just going for the ride. You see everything going on in your life, you're aware of it, you notice it, you try to make changes, but somehow it's not changing. So it's like you're in a car and someone else is driving a car, and you're like looking around like, man, where are you taking me? I don't want to go here. But you're just aware of it. And then you say, hey, change direction, take me over here. The car doesn't take you over there. And sometimes you get into the driver, and you take control of the car, and then you move it to where you want to go. But that takes so much energy and so much effort. And then after a while, you lose focus and the car takes you back wherever it wants to go. That's reality loops. So how can you change this, and how can you fix it, right? So the first thing you have to understand is, where did these reality loops come from? So when I talk about a reality, I'm speaking about a belief or a structure that's hidden or programmed deep within your subconscious mind, right? So these realities or these perceptions, they come from when you were a child, from the things we see, because the first years of life, it's very impressionable for our subconscious. So everything just boom gets bombarded, and the subconscious mind takes these programs and starts to create your reality, while your conscious mind, it's busy interpreting stuff, trying to figure out logic, it's building your intellect, it's doing a whole bunch of stuff. So it can't really do everything. That's why your subconscious does 95% of the work. So when you get these beliefs or these reality, now you get older, you decide, man, I don't want this anymore. But you forgot, or you weren't even aware that they're stored in your subconscious, so your subconscious runs these programs. Guys, does that make sense so far? Good. Hopefully you can understand. All right. So the key to changing the reality loop is this. Is number one, you have to understand or become aware of the mind. Okay, what's going on? Good. Number two, here's something you got to understand as well. Our conscious mind, our logical mind, was not created to understand reality, to make sense of reality, to make logic. Reality doesn't owe us anything to make logical sense. The universe doesn't owe us logic. We invented logic. That's our thing for human beings. Everything has to make sense to humans. Why this happened, why that happened, because it fuels some sort of what we call sanity in our mind. but the universe or your subconscious mind doesn't work with logic. So it's the first thing you gotta understand. So if you're trying to change your reality in your conscious mind, that's where you're making a mistake. So that's where you're gonna have the loop. So how do you go ahead and take care of it? Okay, so you gotta use both minds, but you gotta know how to play them or use them. So what you have to do, use your conscious mind to notice the reality that you're in, and then decide, do I want this or not? That's all you have to do for right now. Don't try to force or change. So once you understand, okay, I notice I'm doing this pattern, it's not being productive, I'm not getting what I want, I'm not making the income, I'm not getting the relationships, I'm not getting the success, I just keep getting the sabotaging tendencies. So you become aware of that. Now you know, okay, so Mark basically is teaching me that my conscious mind is to interpret and just become aware and then decide what I want. Now, how do we target the change? Now we have to change reality loops on the unconscious level. So we have to find things or methods that's targeted to change your subconscious, right? So what are some things that we can do to change our reality loop? Okay, number one is when you're doing your regular routine, you have to start now become uncomfortable being comfortable, meaning get out of your comfort zone now. Start doing different things, going to different places, open your ideas to more things, okay? That's going to start to create that change in the subconscious. Also, the next thing you want to start to do is start to question your beliefs. So you want to write them down and say, okay, what do I believe about this and that, my life, money, relationships? Okay, question those beliefs now. If those beliefs aren't getting you to where you want to go, guess what? You can change them because your subconscious is illogical, right? So it's just like that. So, all right, so you got some components. All right, now, so I start to change my beliefs. Okay, so what starts to happen when I do that? All right, once you start to change your beliefs now, your reality will start to show because now your subconscious mind is becoming impressionable. Now, here's the secret how this works now. You have to do it repetitively, over, because it takes some time for your subconscious to get the program. Although your subconscious doesn't work with what we call linear time, but present moment time. So the reason why it takes your subconscious what we call time is because your subconscious loves to protect those reality loops. It doesn't want to lose them. It believes it's doing you a favor. So that's why it will reject those loops. So what ways do my subconscious mind rejects them? Well, it interacts with your logical mind. So what it does, it justifies things. It'll say something like, well, it's been going on this way for the longest, not going to change, might as well settle for it. That goes to your conscious mind. See, that's justification. It's too much work, it's hard, it's too late. That's all the logic that is given into your conscious mind. So your subconscious can influence the thinking of your conscious. Even though it's illogical, what you fail to understand is your subconscious is emotional. So it can send emotional feelings. These feelings can interpret how your conscious mind sees reality. That's why we have feelings and then we have logic and we make decisions. Remember, you ever hear that saying? Don't make decisions when you're emotional. That's right, because your subconscious can influence your conscious mind to keep you in that loop. It's very powerful. So now you know that. All right. So what you start to do now is once you start to build now and you start to understand and say, okay, target it. So you target your subconscious mind through also images in your mind's eye. Start to see the life you want, your desires. Also, you proclaim, you have to speak out aloud. That will impress your subconscious mind. The key again, repetition. So if you start to do these structures together, what actually ends up happening now is the subconscious will start to release the old loop. Now you start to bring in your new, what I call reality. Now here's the beauty what happens. When you do this now, it interacts in your conscious mind. So now, look at it like before you had tunnel vision. You just only seen one direction. You couldn't see where you want to go because it was filtered out. Now that you create this new loop, it expands. Now your mind starts to filter in these new opportunities, new things, because now your subconscious mind has a new map of reality. That's when you'll start to see the change. That's when you won't do the old story, the old things again. See that? So let me do a quick review so you can get it. So number one, become to change your map of reality. Become aware of it. Understand that your mind wasn't designed to make logic. Just know what's going on. Okay, this is what I want and I don't want. I'm honest with myself. I see what's going on. That's number one. Number two, write your beliefs down. See which beliefs aren't working. Okay, then you can change them just like that, because your subconscious is illogical. Okay, then we move to the next one. What's the next one? Now we start to impress our subconscious with the repetition. We start to become different. We start to take different ways to work, different views. We start to empower our subconscious. You can also use subconscious, suggestion, subliminals, the image in the mind, see it. These are things that will get your subconscious out of this loop of reality. Once you start to do that, boom, now your reality changes. So how does the reality change, man? So you're telling me if I start to do this, my reality will instantly change and I get what I want? Yes, because again, the subconscious mind, because it has access to a higher consciousness or level of consciousness, superconscious mind, some of us call God, the universe. What happens is this: because your subconscious mind is so infinite with processing information, and because the fabric of what we call reality is our perception, and everything comes in through our laws, everything comes into reality through the most elementary laws of physics. So quantum physics takes over. Particles coagulate, they merge, and they become things, and you see objects. That's all your subconscious mind doing that. So this is why some change can be instantaneously, because remember, there's no time. Everything is happening right now. So what happens, the reason you see it is not because it was created or it was built. It was already there. What happens was your brain switched the filter off so you could pick up that new reality. It was always there. But you were in the tunnel vision because your subconscious has these old programs. See? So there you have it. So now you know why I keep manifesting the same reality, how I'm manifesting the same reality, know why it's happening, and how I can change it. So hopefully those are some good tips for you so you can start to use them to now make your reality loop your desires. All right, guys. Thanks.